Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa Podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa, and I'm the host of the Ray Tampa Podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with more than 42 years of experience working in the Pinellas County schools, and Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. My co-host. I'm sure most of you have heard the statement, quote, "We're moving toward Jim Crow 2.0. End of quote. Undoubtedly, this statement has negative connotations for Blacks and other minorities relative to government policies, programs, and attitudes. The fact that states all across the South, at the direction of the country's most ignorant president, are attempting to dilute or erase Black voting strength or Black representation by gerrymandering. Blacks have been here before. Blacks have actually thrived in Jim Crow conditions. We're going to have a healthy discussion concerning survival in a Jim Crow system. We're going to focus on the economics of that survival. To begin, let's listen to this clip about the Black dollar as presented by Black Knowledge. Done.
This is the unwritten truth. The black dollar. Everybody's profit except us. You pay white landlords. You pay white-owned utility companies. You pay white-owned car companies. Ford, Chevy, Tesla. You pay white banks interest just to live. Then you walk into your own neighborhood and you pay Asians for every beauty product on the shelf. You pay Indians and Arabs at every gas station and corner store. You pay everybody except your own people. We're not broke. We're being drained. The black dollar stays in our community for 6 hours. Just 6. Asian communities, 17 days. Indian communities, up to 28 days. How can we build anything when our money runs away before the sun sets? They own the stores. They own the systems. They even own the platforms we speak on. And every time we spend, we feed someone else's empire. This isn't about hate. It's about awareness. It's about survival. We need to start building Black-owned apps, Black-owned websites, Black-owned distribution. Because if we don't pay each other, we'll keep funding our own oppression. The black dollar is powerful, but only when it's controlled by Black hands.
The black dollar is powerful, she said, but only when it's controlled by Black hands. So we'll get into that and other segments of discussion. We will discuss the clip and how it relates to the success that occurred on the DEUCES in the 50s, the 60s, and early 70s here in St. Petersburg, Florida. We will discuss how the black dollar actually stays within the community. Obviously, there are lots of examples of black dollar success, black dollar success stories we can lean on. So at this point, fellas, let's talk about it. I'll begin by restating a comment that was made in the clip about the black dollar lasting in our community 6 hours,
Mhm.
while in other communities, such as the Asian community or others,
Mhm.
for days, not hours, for days, many days. So, what do we attribute this to? Jamie, you had some thoughts on it.
Yeah, I have some thoughts. You know, the way it's education. We need more education on how to do this because a lot of the younger people, they've grown up in so-called white America and how things are done. But if we could, like, for instance, 40 acres and a mule. Right now, if we got our 40 acres and a mule, we spend the money to be gone in less than a month because it's not understood. It's not the education is out there. We possess a buying power of 1.2 to 1.6 trillion dollars a year. And unfortunately, only 2 to 6% of that stays in our community. And based on what you're saying, it is true. Those statistics, what you said, they have ranges, but the only one that doesn't have a range is the black dollar staying within our community. 6 hours is all they say. But the other ones, Asians, 60 hours to 28 days. Jews, 30 hours to 17 days. For every dollar that's earned in a white household, we have 15% of that. We only get, in our household, it's 15% of every dollar that's in a white. That's a deficit of 85 cents. That is definitely systematic inequities, and that's the reason for the wealth gap. Circulation of black dollars necessary. It's about when you have black dollars circulating in communities, it creates opportunities, jobs. But when you don't, you have that breakdown, that poverty level, that disparity. Now multiply that by that happened in say 100 years. We've been dealing with that. We are targeted by the one percenters. Because of this buying power I just spoke of, this 1.2, 1.6 to 1.6 trillion, we are targeted by the 1%, the big corporations. They know we're spenders. You know, we're trying to look fly, we're trying to impress, we're trying to do whatever. Also, it's been done before, people. It's been done before. We had Black Wall Street, a lot of Black thriving communities. This has been done before. As you talked about earlier, 22nd Street, it was a Black community. But to be real, they did it because they had to. They did it because of segregation. Like they had to do this. This wasn't an option. We got to think like even now we need to think in terms of segregation, not to be prejudiced or racial against anybody else, but keeping our dollars in our community. We need to think like that. We need to have that mentation. We need to be intentional with our buying power. We have more buying power than anybody in the country. We need to be intentional. We need to educate each other about it. Y'all can go for it. Got more.
Okay, good job, Jay. And Russ, what you got?
Well, if I piggyback on what James is saying, you take money and it can't stick in a community, then the opportunities can stick. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Money brings about opportunity, but it has to stay in order for it to develop. But you know, I go back and tell people, you got to listen to Martin Luther King. Because that's what he preached on, collectivism of the dollar. He totally preached on that thing every day. And I know, I'm looking back at St. Petersburg. There was a guy named John Hopkins, POC. He developed something called a credit union, a Black credit union. Those things work, right? But we got to go back and think about, we got to go back and evaluate how can selectively our dollars can work. Because here's what is taking place in the Black community now. There's a word called gentrification.
Mm-hmm.
And it's wiping us out.
Yeah.
It's taking us old.
Yeah.
So if you're talking about spending money in a black community, there may not be no more black communities around with
Yeah.
gentrification coming. And I can see it every day here in St. Pete. It's on its way. It's
Mhm.
here. And that's a terrible thing. In 1865, black-owned operation was less than 0.51%. Today, and it's still under 2%.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You see, we have more rights and more everything, and we're still under that. But it's systematic though. It's not just because we're lazy. It's hard to get loans. It's a bunch of racial nonsense that still goes on.
But
It still goes on.
But you said something that if the black dollar means something, it could eradicate
Yeah.
the systematic thing.
We're the biggest spenders. We are some people speak when it comes to like segregation back then, and I was saying that they had to do it, they didn't have a choice. But and they were thriving businesses. Those white people saw like these people, they're building communities, they're doing good, they're making money. We need to get those dollars. Let's get that money. And it makes me wonder sometimes, desegregation was it because I don't really think it was because we're treating these people unfair, we're being cruel and evil and racist. No, we need that money. Let's desegregate so we get some of that money, some of that revenue stream.
Good point. I want to share some information with you all that's going to tie together what you've said, and the realities of the situation. Bear with me here because March 2017, 9 years ago, I wrote an article entitled DEUCES Live. Yes, 1950 through 1969. DEUCES Live, yes. St. Petersburg's African American community had it going on a few years ago. Man, there was a very strong sense of community, a strong sense of togetherness, and a strong economic vibrancy. There were grocery stores, barber shops, fish markets, doctor's offices, dentist offices, exciting nightlife, amazing barbecue joints, shoe repair shops, retail clothing stores, tailoring shops, dry cleaners, a movie theater, a bakery, a hospital, a service station, and more. That's St. Petersburg DEUCES Live. The people operating the various businesses on the DEUCES were amazing in their resolve to be good partners to the community. Morris Tampa, my brother, told me how people would come to my dad's fish market, Sun Coast Fish Market, and request seafood on credit and get it. He even said that my dad would have him deliver fish, crabs, or shrimp to people on credit. Those same people would make a point of getting their balances settled without any problems. I remember Mr. Silvers, owner of Silvers Shoe Repair, putting heels on soles of shoes for $2 to $5. I remember going to the Royal Theater to see classics such as King Kong versus Godzilla, Frankenstein, The Werewolf. I remember the Royal Theater would have promotions that allowed patrons to get in and see movies with soda tops. Also, I remember the talent shows were held on Wednesday nights at the theater. Specifically, I remember my next door neighbor and friend, Frank Bush, singing his heart out. Duke, 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 Duke of Earl. He was really going at it. Furthermore, Geach's Barbecue was legendary for their thin-end rib sandwiches. Personally, my favorite sandwich was the delicious hot dogs. Oh, yes. Let's not forget those tasty ham sandwiches with lettuce, tomato, and mayo. And there was Green's Bakery, famous for their glazed donuts and donut holes and so much more. Though I personally never got to see James Brown, Count Basie, Ella Fitzgerald, or any of the other stars, such as Duke Ellington, that played at the Manhattan Casino, you can bet that I've heard the tales many times. This stroll down memory lane is a good one because those were really good times. Many of us were poor and didn't even know it. We didn't feel it. It was good to have Dr. Ayers' office on 22nd Street and 7th Avenue. And 2 short blocks away, Dr. Leggett. 4 blocks to the south from Dr. Leggett, we had Mercy Hospital. 1 block south of the hospital was Dr. Wimdish. And across 15th Avenue, we had Dr. Swain's office. Across from Dr. Swain's office was Dr. Clark. All of this is right there. The DEUCES. So as a community, our dollars could easily stay in the community. Get your shoes repaired, Silvers. Go get some groceries, Arden's grocery store. Go to the dentist, go to the doctor, go see a movie. All right there in the community. Finishing up here, I can't imagine that we will ever experience the sense of community and the real connectivity that we had back then. This is not to say we can't get highly successful businesses to operate along the DEUCES. It simply means that the variables in our society are so much different today than they were much earlier during segregation.
Right. Right.
That's the crux of the matter. We can do it.
Yes.
We've done it.
Yes.
Other communities have done it. Have you all heard of this community in North Carolina on the beach? Blacks weren't allowed on the beach, but a black group of businessmen, they formed a town on a 4-block area of the beach that was thriving, truly thriving. So segregationists, they thought they were hurting us, but they were creating what you said, opportunities.
Opportunity.
Opportunity.
Right.
The black dollar, it can be a very powerful thing,
Right.
if it's in black hands,
Right.
as said earlier.
And we can do this now. We can do this now. Even with all the systematic things that are against us from government on down, we can still do this now, but we have to be intentional. Intentional about where we place our dollars within our community. And in our community, we want that quality service, the same as you would give and this doesn't exclude any other races or anybody else. We want everybody's money, but we need to be intentional because let's face it, our communities have a lot of disparities, whether it be health, living, crime, this and that. We have a lot of disparities, but that can be turned around. And people before us, as I go back to Tesla, and even the gas plant area, yeah, that was a decent area, good neighborhoods. So it can be done. And so instead of whining about it, reset your thing. If you got to think, just focus on your community the best you can, and demand quality. Demand quality. Don't come to complain or high side, but just demand quality, just like you will get it from anywhere else. And I'm sure there's business owners that will give you that quality because you hear that. That's why I go other places because this, that, and the other. Be intentional with your money. You got to build up where your grandmas and your aunties and you and your kids and your neighbors shop. Build up your community first, if you can.
Good points, Jay. Great points. Russ?
No, I go along with him. I think what people got to understand that segregation, when you look at the word, it doesn't seem right. But to us, it was a strong point in our life.
Yeah.
Very strong.
We benefited from
we
it.
benefited off that because we look at black dollars, black capitalism, all that came into play.
We had banks.
Yeah.
We
It
had,
came into play. It was
Yeah.
a hell of a thing. I think that what hurts me, I think that we were trying to get to the counters to eat. And once we got to the counters to eat, we said, okay, we're all right. But we forgot we got to develop. You see, if you can't track where your money is going, then you can't change them. You got to track that. And we tracked that during the second game. We knew where our dollars were going.
Mhm.
We knew where they were going.
Exactly.
You see? But when it broke up, we lost track of that.
You lost track.
And it's easy to track your dollars
Yeah.
because if I go to a business in our community and I spend $20, $25, I can reasonably feel that a portion of that money, if not all, is going to stay in our community, circulate it to other businesses. If I go to, well, I'm going to use the radio station right here. I got a business. I want to advertise on the radio station, knowing that that costs money.
Yes.
So I paid Don some money to advertise on his radio station. Oh, excuse
Bless you.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you.
Don now has that money and others where he can hire employees. So I'm talking
Keep the
to
lights
work
on.
in the radio station.
Mhm.
Keep the lights on. So that money I'm spending with him is being utilized for the success of his business.
Yeah.
And the success of his business, excuse me, I'm going to have to cut this short. One of you can speak.
Yeah, but let me go back. James, I want you to pinpoint because you said something before the show started, that customer service.
Customer service.
I want you to explain.
Yeah. Well, basically, with the customer, you hear some of our, and sometimes with us, with this whole crabs in a bucket syndrome, but I am one that if I'm spending my money, I want customer service. I've seen in some businesses here on the South Side, black businesses, to where, you get a mundane type of customer service, like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then when someone of another race come in, oh, hey, how can I help you? All of that. So I expect the same customer service. You ain't got to love me, hug me, or kiss me, but treat me like you treat everybody else, because I will get up and leave. I will get up and leave. So that's all I'm saying. It's two sides to the coin, two sides. Don't feel like it's your customer because Ricky Bobby over there, that's your buddy. He's supposed to dumb it down or give you half price every time he see you, because you know what I mean? No, just the same way you would spend money over there, spend it over here. People got to live, people got to survive. So it's two sides of that coin, but it's all about keeping the money in the community. Keep the money in the community and be intentional with your spending.
Well, I want to go back to what I was trying to say before I had a throat problem here. But if Don has the money from advertisers, he can hire employees. He can buy more equipment to upgrade his business.
Right.
And then that money that he's paying to his employees, or that money that he's using to buy equipment, hopefully from somebody in the community, it just keeps circulating.
Right.
His employees go and buy a house somewhere. His employees go and buy clothes somewhere, groceries somewhere. The money stays in the community. But if you are paying money to your employees, if you have it, and then they go outside the community, then obviously that's not replicating that dollar, the value.
The problem is, even after desegregation, the whole feeling was over there is better.
Yeah.
White people have better this, better that. And that's what hurt our community. As soon as we got the green light, oh, we can go over here. That was the problem. Not saying you shouldn't, you do what you want to do. But understand that this thing you created was viable. It was good. It was, it was fruitful. You know what I'm saying? But you went over there and it's all about, I think they wanted the acceptance to feel accepted over there. No, they just want your money. Some of them, you know, not all of them, some of them. Some of them are like that. It's keep it in your community. I mean, yeah, shop where you want. You have a right to do whatever you want. But I'm just saying, when you just straight out take everything out of the community, now your community falls. Now the disparities come, whether it be health, businesses. Oh, this business closing down because there's not enough patronage. I mean, things like that. Like it can come back. It can come back.
It can come back.
But you got to make it come back.
I want to conclude my article with one paragraph here. Pulitzer Prize-winning author Eugene Robinson wrote a very insightful book entitled Disintegration, the Splintering of America's Black Population. In his book, he says city after city, African-American neighborhoods that once had been vibrant and a sense whole disintegrated. He goes on to say this change was caused by African Americans taking advantage of new opportunities, resulting in a more economically segregated community. These points explain perfectly what happened here in St. Petersburg, as our civil rights heroes, such as Dr. Wimbish, Dr. Swain, Dr. Leggett, Dr. Asser, Attorney I.W. Williams, Attorney Sanderlin, Pastor Enoch Davis, and others fought to open up more opportunities for African Americans. They inadvertently assisted in the eventual demise of a very lively 22nd Street.
Mm-hmm.
The price of progress, I guess.
Yeah, and it's okay with progressing. If you want to live in Mar-a-Lago next to Trump, that's okay. But understand, you could create, if you got that kind of money, you can still create or fund businesses here or start businesses right here in your area. Be aware where you come from. It's okay to move on up. George Jefferson did it. It's okay to do it. But don't forget your communities or communities. Even if you're just giving education on finance or whatever, how to keep the money and how to move, how to start businesses, stuff like that. But keep your community or Black communities that are around you in the loop. Don't just move on up and I don't deal with those people anymore.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
that's ridiculous.
Yeah. You want to be accepted somewhere else when they don't even want you there half the time.
I think what you're saying, Tim, is so keeping the Black dollar, the Black community,
Yeah.
does eradicate systemic.
Yeah,
systemic.
Yeah, this is not being about racist or whatever the case may be. It's about our Black communities are, man, you go around areas in Florida alone, our Black communities, there's so many disparities. I mean, sometimes the whole city looks like a hood. You know what I mean? They have this one little tourist trap for, for the ones that have, but in the rest of it's almost like Bahamas. I was over there. I had some friends over there. I used to fly over there a lot. And you got the little tourist trap for the boats and all that stuff, the tourist area. And then all the other areas were looking terrible.
Oh.
And it's like that. It's a bunch of disparities. And
That's definitely the truth.
mm-hmm,
No exaggeration.
mm-hmm.
Well,
You see, that's why I'm gonna say it right now. That's why I voted for Kim Walsh. That was the reason.
Thought you
knowing
would change.
that this thing is going to change.
Yeah,
That was my reason, Ray.
I get it.
surprise, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
All right. I've been notified that time is up, and I want to thank my two co-hosts for another job well done. I want to thank you, the listening audience, for tuning into the Ray Tampa podcast. And I want to ask that you continue doing so each and every Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. on 99.1 FM, The Bird. I want to apologize for my throat problems a little while back. And I also want to ask that you remember to call the Supervisor of Elections office and register to vote.
Hey,
I found out a couple of days ago that you have to do this because they're changing numbers on your voter registration. And you may go to vote and they won't let you because you didn't check in and change that number on your voter registration. With all that being said, good evening.